What's going on, guys? This is Rob, and if you're enjoying the content here on my channel, then make sure you hit the like button and make sure you hit subscribe so you can help decide what direction the content on my channel goes in the foreseeable future. Robcore. I am back. Finally, the Rob has come back to killing superheroes. I just got back from WrestleMania. WrestleMania is not as good as it used to be, but it was still pretty fun to watch. It was still pretty cool to be there and to see all that stuff happen. Anyway, the last time we tried this, we bit off more than we could chew when we tried to kill the one above all, and we ended up getting humbled and admitting defeat. I wouldn't really say we were defeated so much as we were like temporarily set back. I think is a much better way of looking at that. It was a temporary setback in the sense that we temporarily discovered that we can never kill the one above all. So we're not gonna let one loss stop us from continuing in our quest to rid the world of superheroes. After all, we try to take down the god of the Marvel Universe, and there's no shame in admitting that it can't be done, because there are still some super powerful characters in comics that we haven't taken out yet. And you guys, much like me, apparently will not be satisfied until all the superheroes and supervillains are dead. I just want to go on record and saying, we're like the best villain team ever. The Robcore, like we're just sitting around like plotting like how to kill superheroes and how to kill supervillains. Woe betide the time that Marvel or DC makes the Robcore the villains of a comic book, because no one will defeat us, the Robcore. We are 950,000 strong, we're beastly. But in today's video, we're gonna regroup, we're gonna refocus, and turn our attention to one of the most often overlooked, but still insanely powerful characters in the Marvel Universe, Ghost Rider. Now, I want to start by pointing out that for the purposes of this video, we are focusing only on those individuals who have been designated Ghost Riders because they possess a spirit of vengeance, which is a spirit given to them by a divine force from which they derive their powers. What this means is that our discussion will apply to individuals such as Johnny Blaze and Danny Ketch, but will not apply to Marvel's newest Ghost Rider, Robbie Reyes, since Robbie gets his powers from the spirit of a deceased human and is therefore not a true Ghost Rider. The reason for making this distinction is that given the limited number of appearances that Robbie's made in the comics, we simply don't have enough information on what the extent of his powers actually are. And so figuring out exactly what it would take to kill him is a task that we'll have to reserve for a later time when his character's a bit more fleshed out in the comics and when Marvel stops being stupid and rolls him back over into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Now, with that in mind, let's look at why Ghost Rider is so hard to kill. Now, when you typically think of the most powerful characters in the Marvel Universe, Ghost Rider is usually not a name that comes up. Most people think of like Galactus or Thanos or Silver Surfer, the Robcore, or some other cosmic entity that's out there. But as we're getting ready to see, Ghost Rider is just as formidable as most of the characters typically placed in the strongest tier of the Marvel Universe. Now, I'm not going to go into a full discussion on Ghost Rider's powers here because we've released a video on that previously that you can go back and check out when we did a versus series with Ghost Rider versus Spawn. But what I do want to focus on here is that for all intents and purposes, the power Ghost Rider derives from the spirit of vengeance makes him effectively immortal. One reason for this is that Ghost Rider has virtually limitless durability to the extent that he cannot be harmed by conventional physical means. What this means is that the Ghost Rider could go toe-to-toe with even the strongest characters in the Marvel Universe like the Thing, Juggernaut, or even the Hulk and live to tell the tale. In fact, Ghost Rider did battle the Hulk in his strongest form, the Worldbreaker, to basically what amounted to a standstill during the World War Hulk event. So in terms of physical damage, we're simply never going to be able to deal enough damage to Ghost Rider to kill him. So we have to move on to more mystic methods. To that end, there is some precedent in Marvel Comics for Ghost Rider dying. For instance, in the Siege of Darkness event, the Ghost Rider is killed by the demon Zarathos, who absorbs Ghost Rider's essence. What this tells us is that although Ghost Rider can't physically be harmed, he is vulnerable to divine, demonic, and mystical attacks. This is further reinforced by another encounter Johnny Blaze has with a supernatural entity known as the Demogorge, who had possessed the vampire Blade during the Midnight Massacre crossover. Now Blade, with his powers greatly augmented, absorbed Johnny Blaze's powers and subsequently killed him. Now this gives us a basic blueprint for killing Ghost Rider. Find a way to separate the supernatural force of the Ghost Rider from its human host. This, of course, is a difficult proposition for any being that does not possess sufficient divine power. But there might be a workaround here, and I say might be because the evidence for this actually exists outside of the mainline Marvel Universe in the alternate reality series What If, issue number 28, which asked the question, what would happen if Johnny Blaze was separated from Ghost Rider? Now in the story, Johnny Blaze and the Ghost Rider are separated by a mage known as Azazel Hornsby, who then possesses the body of the Ghost Rider itself. Later, Blaze kills Hornsby with a mystical artifact called the Scimitar of Rahman Beth, which not only kills Hornsby, but also the Ghost Rider and Johnny Blaze himself along with him. Now, while we might not be able to put too much stock into this, since it happens to be an alternate reality, it does give us an idea that perhaps artifacts imbued with mystical energy can be effective in separating Ghost Rider from its host. Now, as a side note here, if a version of the Scimitar does exist in the main Marvel Universe, then separating the Ghost Rider from its host may not even be necessary, as it seems the weapon can kill the Ghost Rider outright. Although it is unclear whether there is an analog for the Scimitar, we do know of another artifact that does exist that may have the potential to kill Ghost Rider in a sword called Justicar. Now, Justicar was forged by a former agent of Zarathos named Foundry, who was subsequently used to kill other agents of Zarathos. While we can't say definitively if it would work on Ghost Rider, there is at least a chance that it would, considering that Zarathos is the demon that originally gave Johnny Blaze the Ghost Rider powers, and if the sword can kill agents, it may be able to kill the Ghost Rider as well. There is also evidence that Ghost Riders can be killed by angelic forces, as we've seen in Jason Aaron's run on the title, in which an angel named Zadkiel used Danny Ketch as an instrument to steal the power of the Ghost Riders all over the world, which resulted in the death of the host in most cases. While most people are unable to summon the power of angels, it's not unfeasible to harness divine power in lesser doses and use it against a singular Ghost Rider. In fact, we saw this happen under the writing of Garth Ennis in Ghost Rider Volume 5, issue number 5, when Johnny Blaze is shot in the head with a bullet that's been dipped in holy water and sent to hell. Now, whether this technically counts as killing him is open to interpretation, but since it effectively removes him from Earth and traps him in hell for eternity, I'm pretty much gonna count it in. So, having said that, it is incredibly hard to kill Ghost Rider. I mean, it really is difficult. He's a spirit of vengeance. He literally exists to fight the immortal and then send them back to hell. It's a very difficult situation. So, in conclusion, while it is incredibly hard to kill Ghost Rider, it seems there are 3 basic ways to do it. First, you can separate it from its host and then kill the host. It's important to note that this only kills the host, not the spirit, but the spirit would most likely be banished to hell once again, so we've pretty much accomplished our goal. The second is to find an artifact that's capable of destroying the spirit, or the third is using a weapon containing some form of holy energy and send the Ghost Rider back to hell. But regardless of which one it is that you pick, the Ghost Rider pretty much ends up being defeated, ends up being killed, so I think we served our purpose here, members of the Rob Corps. With that being said, next week, I don't believe that he's done this yet, but next week we are going to kill Grant Gustin. I love you, man. I really love Grant Gustin. I think he's amazing Flash, but we're going to kill the Flash. So that sounds ominous, doesn't it? I promise no harm will befall Grant Gustin. However, we are going to see if we can kill Barry Allen the Flash in DC Comics. After that, maybe we'll move on to Wally West. But if you guys are new here to Comics Explained, make sure you guys hit the sub button to become part of the Rob Corps. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a like, and yeah, I will catch you guys later. Peace.